What's up, Ohana Exotics, and welcome back to another exciting video. On today's video, we're going to be looking at 5 tips for you guys to better feed and easier feed your arboreal vipers. So those 5 tips are as following. The first one, feed your prey item when it's still really warm. The second one, feed smaller meals. The third one is ghost after they hold on. The fourth tip is increase the humidity and mist before feeding. And the fifth tip is to feed at times of the day that they actually would hunt at night. Now we're going to be going in depth through each of these points as we go through this video. So tighten your buckles, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Tell a friend if you like it. In any case, let's jump right into this. Alright guys, now the very first tip I'm actually going to be giving you guys in regards to feeding your arboreal vipers is make sure your prey item is really warm. If that prey item's warm, those heat pits activate, they smell it, they get a little bit of a little iffy, and then bah! Action panaction. They actually take that food. So what I have here is I've got a bucket full of mice. So obviously you don't want to feed your arboreals too big meals, right? Because otherwise if they eat too big a meal, they get fat, they get liver disease, yada yada yada. But now that this prey item is still warm, and I mean it's really warm. If you hold like this, it doesn't scald or burn you, but you can physically feel the heat coming over this. And this usually is a nice trick to entice your snakes to actually eat, especially your arboreal vipers. Alright guys, now is this a general, is this a rule for arboreal vipers to say that that meal has to be warm before they eat? And the truth to the matter is, no, it's not, because I actually have a bunch of arboreal vipers that would actually eat while it's frozen. Well, not frozen, but I mean while it's still cold. Then I've got other individuals, like this one for example, that do not take colder meals. And he's rather difficult to feed because he actually requires quite a few strikes before he actually grabs that prey item. But if it's cold, you can forget it, he doesn't even strike. And there it is. Alright guys, and the next feeding trick that we're going to be looking at is using a smaller prey item than you'd usually feed, especially when they're being picky. Having a smaller prey item would just very much increase your chances of getting a bite that actually latches on. Now she's been a bit tricky lately, not really sure as to why, but let's see if this smaller prey item, a tad bit smaller than she's used to, would be doing the trick for us. Boom! Damn! Look at it, it goes. Alright guys, so like I said, with the first trick, for all my arboreals, I heat their prey up a tad bit warmer than I would for any other snake. Like I said, that just enables a more secure, that just allows for less of a failure when it comes to feeding them, because obviously they work with heat pits, and since the prey item is a lot warmer, they can more adequately identify that prey item. And then the second trick is what I'm showing you guys here with this female Cobra viper, is offering a tad bit smaller meal than you usually would. A lot of times that is, that enables you to easier, oh wow, look at those fangs. I'm actually so distracted by this girl at the moment. So offering a smaller meal would actually be an easier way for you to get a confirmed bite and hold, which is really what you want. You want them to bite and hold. And also oftentimes when you feed a smaller meal, it lessens the chance of them actually falling down. So think about it like this, right? These guys are in treetop canopies and things like that. So when they grab too big of a prey item that might feel like they can fall, they'll instantly let it go out of instinct, right? So if you give a small enough meal that doesn't obviously drag them down, they feel more comfortable to hold on to that. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but I think it should. And then the next trick I'm going to be showing you guys now in regards to feeding your arboreal vipers is going to be the ghost move. I call this the ghost move because basically once you get your arboreal viper to hold on to that prey item, you need to ghost. You need to get the hell out of here. Because remember, like I said, for tip number 1, they use those heat pits to sense the meal. And obviously you want a giant ball of heat. So when they see you, you're massive, you're imposing, you're threatening. So they obviously won't feel comfortable enough to hold on to that prey item and start swatting. Because remember, their primary defense is in their mouth, right? That's why they've got this fin, and that's why they've got the massive fangs. So if you get them to latch and hold, you need to kind of slowly disappear. You want to go and gone. and then after they've eaten, you come back, and then voila, you've got a full snake. So we're actually going to be doing this with my tiny little squammy girl. I don't know if you guys can remember from a few videos back, but I'll link that video over here so you guys can re-look that video. So she's like that. When she holds the prier item, I need to slowly disappear, because otherwise I'm threatening to her. She drops that meal item and she immediately is right back in her defensive posture, because obviously I'm a giant ball of scariness to her. Right, so I got my warm pinky over here. I'm lowering my voice because even though they don't have ears, they've got internal hearing organs that helps them sense vibrations. Alright, so she's already noticing that meal. See the tongue flickering and everything.
A few moments later.
Now if she takes this whole pinky, that would be her third whole pinky for her entire time of existing. That's it, right? So you get them to hold on to that prier item and then you bolt. You leave them be. But however, so I've given that piece of advice to quite a few people, right? And let me tell you, a good rule of thumb is when you don't go to the point where you can't observe the tub from afar or something like that. Because I've actually had a few people message me like, yo bro, so I tried it, it worked, but when I got back, my snake was hiding under something or whatever. So yeah, obviously, you know, stay responsible in your doings when you ghost. But yeah, so okay, the next tip we're going to be going through is actually simulating rainfall before you feed. So what does that mean, right? So that means either misting a few hours in advance to feeding your snakes, or misting the night before, or misting the morning before when you feed. Misting often simulates a natural instinct of hunting behavior, right? Because that where they come from, when the rain comes pouring, you know, the frogs, the geckos, the skinks, all these things will become extremely active right after the rains or during the rains. And obviously, you know, these guys instinctively know this would be the time to hunt, this would be the time to perch. So oftentimes you'll see that if you missed a few hours after you missed it, you'll see your snake sitting perched up, ready to actually strike something. And that's why. So we're going to be feeding 1, 2, 3. So we're going to be feeding 3 more little vipers, and then we're going to feed a really difficult schlegeli. She's a nightmare to feed. She's been a journey. So we'll go over a few tips of what I did to actually get her to eat as well, and that will be the last tip of the day in regards to feeding arboreal vipers. This is a schlegeli that I absolutely love boasting with, because I mean, just have a look at her. I mean, damn, that is fire. Oh, you missed it. That was a poor strike. That's still a poor strike, but at least you held on to it now. So let's feed the Vogels female. Now, the 2 Vogels and the schlegeli are definitely due for an upgrade from the rack that they're currently in. I mean, they've been growing like little weeds. There you go. Here you go. Hey. So this is, for example, another one of the animals that I told you guys that would eat even if the prey is still quite cold. So these mice have been standing for a while, so I'm just antagonizing her a bit, but she'll eat no problem, even if it's a bit cold. So yeah, let's take a quick recess from feeding all the arboreals and feed my monocled cobra, because obviously, you know, she's a hungry cobra. Let's see if we can actually get her to come out and say hi to us. Now she's definitely excited about the possibility of there being food. So we've got to be careful over here. But there we go. How's that for playing fetch with the freaking cobra? Alright, you go back. I know, you're a big mean old cobra and I shouldn't bother you and things like that. Let's get back to the topic of this video. Alright guys, so this is going to be the last viper of this video, right? And also the last and final tip. So let me give you guys some backstory on this snake. She came to me as a relatively difficult feeder as is. I struggled my ass off to get her to feed. I've tried all my tricks, and the only thing that I found that worked with this individual is the tip I'm going to be sharing with you guys now. So I reheated her meal, because obviously, like I said, that just aids them in locking onto their prey. But the main thing with this female to get her to eat is to actually feed at night, which is the final tip that I'm giving you guys, is feed at the times that they would actually hunt in the wild, which would be, you know, dusk, when it goes from, well, not dusk, what do you call it, dawn. So when it goes from afternoon to evening side to night side. That I have found is the only time that she actually does eat. Now, a little backstory on her. So when I got her, like I said, she was already a difficult eater, and then she actually got infection in her left eye. So her left eye has lost all mobility, right? Well, I can see the pupil moving under there, but that eye is redundant. It's basically non-functioning, which obviously took a massive knock to her health. She got super skinny because she stopped eating, because obviously, you know, that infection in the eye was bothering everything over here because she got inflated. I never put her on antibiotics because of how skinny she was already, because of being a difficult feeder. So I was scared to put her on antibiotics. So I just persevered and tried a lot of tricks. So without further ado, let's actually get her out. Right, so the three tricks that I have that work with her is feeding at night, making sure her prey item is warm, and then trying to ghost right after I got her to actually lock on and hold her meal. It does take a few attempts though. And today I think is my very lucky day. So now just to slowly close up this tub over here to not bothering her. We did it. We freaking did it. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. If you guys want me to do a video a bit more in depth on tips and tricks in getting your arboreal vipers and your vipers and stuff like that to feed, I will do that with you guys for absolute pleasure. Now, I already have a video of how to tease feed them. I'll link it up here. And I also have a video of how to assist feed them. I'll link it up here for you guys. And hopefully this top 5 tricks to get them eating is going to help you guys. From Mohan Exotics, you guys know I love you. You guys know and I appreciate you. And for all of you that got to this far of the video, you are the real MVP. Cheers.